Well, if you have looked at the stock market today, you know that it is on another huge roller coaster ride, in this case to the downside today. And, you know, real estate not doing much better here in San Diego. It's a very, very challenging, difficult time. Much better, though, if you have an expert on your side. And our real estate expert, Bryan Garrity, joins us here on San Diego Living again this morning to answer your questions, first off. So we'll get the top-of-mind stuff, and then we'll kind of talk in general terms about how we're doing here and what you'd like to have folks do. First question, ask Big Daddy. That's what this segment is. So get fired up, Big Daddy, because here it comes. This is Ingrid in Solana Beach. She says, I have been solicited by an agent to short sale my residence. He seems to have a bunch of my personal credit information. How is that possible?
Well, he's nosy. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay.
No. In all honesty, you've got to realize that everything in terms of your house is public record. So if you were to default on your property, go into foreclosure, et cetera, all of that is recorded at the county. So people are able to, gather this information, find out what's going on, even in the pre-foreclosure stage.
Right.
So you'll get a lot of agents that start soliciting these people the minute they see, the morning notice of default report come out. It's kind of like Santa's Christmas list for some people, unfortunately, because that really bugs. But they also now the credit bureaus. So if you go one time late on your mortgage, 30-day, you're now a candidate to have your information sold by the credit bureaus. And I think that is completely crazy.
Yeah, and it sounds to me, it sounds a bit on the predatory side, but the folks that are doing some of these things would say, hey, that's just how business is done. That's how we find clients. I just know your attitude is different. When you work with people who are in a distressed situation, you respect that. Well,
I'm not going to go knock on somebody's door like, hi, Mrs. Jones, I know you're in trouble, or I think you're in trouble. To me, it's beyond predatory. I'm sorry. Yeah, maybe for some people that's the right way to do business and that's their business model, but how invasive could you be?
Right.
I mean, you're really intruding on somebody's life by doing that. But the reverse side is sometimes I see the people that have waited so long until they get here, it's almost like maybe the people that are knocking on the door are doing them a favor. I don't know. I disagree with that business model.
It's just not your approach. And I want folks to understand that about you as we talk to you as our real estate expert, that you treat people with kid gloves in terms of their sensitivities and feelings of the situation they're in, but you're brutally honest. So, folks, if you're expecting that he's going to sugarcoat things for you, you're not going to do that either.
No.
Not even close. Okay, question number 2. This is from Tom in Scripps Ranch. Can a lender force me to contribute to the closing of my home that is approved for short sale?
This is a very good question, because this is the dynamics of this has changed. So if you're talking pre-June 2011, lenders could ask for sellers to contribute to a short sale. In June, the legislation went into effect that said, okay, if a short sale is being honored by the bank cannot, under any circumstances, ask the seller of that property to contribute not even a penny to the short sale. So it's up to the agents and to get a qualified buyer to bring an at-market offer so that these banks can get off the seller's back. Well, now it doesn't matter. It's legislated out. And unfortunately, that's actually not totally worked in everyone's favor, because as second lien holders, that same law applies to them. So you have a first lien holder that's going to only give a second lien holder $3,000, let's say. It's very limited. It's usually like 6% of the balance or 10, depending on the program. Well, they owe $200,000 on a second, and here comes whichever bank offering $12,000 to settle it. Most people think like, oh, that's never going to happen. My whole life is going to fall apart. But no, the banks will settle. But what they were doing previously is saying, we'll take the 12 from one of our friends, the first lien holder, but we also want the seller to kick in 5, 7, 10. I never, with all the clients, all the short sales I've done, I've only had 1 or 2 exceptions where people have had to contribute, but you really have to put your foot down. And then here come the banks also, like, we want your client to contribute $75,000, literally now, one phone call, bam, bam, bam. By the time you hang up, 3 minutes later, they're down to $2,000. So it was very ridiculous. They were asking for seller contributions. However, right now, as it stands, if you're doing a short sale, if you're a seller, if anyone asks you, that's the agent, that's the lawyer that's doing real estate, whatever, asks you for a contribution or money, or the banks too, you're prohibited from doing so.
Yeah, now,
you're protected. You're protected.
Right. But one of the big things that I heard from you in there is that the rule changed And immediately that made me start thinking, okay, I don't want to try to do this by myself if I have to go through this, because the rules are changing, and when they do, somebody has to study and decide what the new game plan is. That's you.
Yes.
And
yeah,
so
absolutely.
that's why we ask folks to come talk to you before they do anything. And again, there's no obligation when folks come to talk to you.
Absolutely not.
Whether they're selling a home, buying a home, doing a short sale, or looking for a loan modification, it's good to get the information first. And Bryan will give you that information without any pressure, and then you can decide if you guys would like to work together or not. Now, one of the other things that you're offering today, and again, this is huge, is 2 free loan modifications. From start to finish, you will help somebody through the process of modifying their loan. The first 2 callers?
Only the first 2.
Only the first 2 callers, please.
But just so we're clear, like, anyone can call, anyone can come in. I'll take as much time as I need to help get you to understand what your situation is and what your remedies are. But in terms of us having the manpower and doing the modifications, we really, that's why I've got to thin it out. Sometimes we can't do them at all, but we can handle, bringing on 2. And so we're usually very successful in getting
for the first
them done.
2 callers.
Yeah.
All right, Bryan Garrity, our real estate expert. It's always great to see you. Thank you. I hope that we're still doing these segments when the market finally turns around and everybody's happy and making money on real estate again. But until then, nice to have you on our side.
That's right.
All right.
I can't wait till that happens.
I know.
We'll be all just talking about lovely, happy things.
Won't that be great? All right.
Exactly.
For more information, san diego6.com. Click on San Diego Living, like you saw right there.